right, so thank you for coming today. I'm Shinya. I'm working in GitLab currently. Today, I'd like to talk about how I joined GitLab from nothing. So let me introduce myself a bit. As I said, now currently I'm working in GitLab, and job title is developer. I do develop web applications, which is Ruby on Rails, and sometimes I do Golang. And I work from my home because GitLab is a remote-only company. And I've been working since June 2017. And before I joined GitLab, I was also a developer, but I was doing totally different thing, which was Windows native application development, which was written in C#, C++. And my previous office was located in Uji, Kyoto, and I had been working there for 5 years. So before we dive into the story, let me ask you a question. How many guys you know GitLab? Okay. So, but the guys who don't know GitLab, I'm going to explain a bit. So GitLab is simply put, GitLab is one of the competitors of GitHub and Bitbucket. So maybe all of you know GitHub, right? At least. GitLab is kind of do the same thing, but also do a bunch of things. So just remember that GitLab is kind of the same tool with GitHub. But the scale is, our company's scale is really big. So this is a map where employees living in. So 320 team members living across 41 countries. I work from Japan, but other guys work from North America, South America, and of course Europe. So we are spread everywhere and work from everywhere. Well, so why did I decide to join GitLab? So first of all, I wanted to quit my previous company. Maybe you know the guy. This is a guy from. This is a character, imaginary, fictional character from the TV show The Office. So the point is that he's well known as our annoying boss, and my previous boss was kind of same, Michael Scottish. It's being said that people won't quit company, but people quit managers. So I was in the same situation. Well, but that was not the only reason. But also I found interesting points in GitLab. At first, famous product, of course. And English only. We communicate in English. I had a neighbor worked in English company. And the remote only. That's interesting. You can work from anywhere. If you have a laptop, you can work in, of course, co-working spaces, or even in South Africa or wherever you are, you can work. And also developers. By some reasons, in my previous company, I was the only developer. The other guys were salespeople. And sometimes I wanted to ask the opinion for developments, other guys, but I couldn't do it. So it's awesome to have developer colleagues, right? So that was an interesting point. And open source. This is very interesting point that GitLab, we work in open source mainly. So it's Japanese company can believe that like they work in a public place and every discussion, discussion is closed, especially in Japanese company. But GitLab is like a bit special that we communicate in public place. So pretty much you can see that our conversations or our discussions. But so there are so many new things in my career. In the next stage, I wanted to work on what am I excited with. But so yeah, well, you applied for a job and succeeded it. That's it. Well, yes. But as I wrote in presentation title, I came from nothing. So now let's back to December 2016, before I quit my previous company. I wanted to apply for a job, but wait. I read job requirements. Requirement number 1, you have worked on a production level Ruby application. No, I didn't develop the production level Ruby applications. I had developed C#, C++. I didn't have much knowledge about web developments, the knowledge related to web developments like what is HTTPS, what is HTTP, what is Postgres, Redis, Sidekick, or something like that. I was totally noob. So I lacked this point. And the next, requirement number 2, strong written communication skills. Today, I talk in front of you guys. I hope you can understand my English. But in 2017, I was so bad at English. Maybe I couldn't speak any of you. Anyone couldn't understand my English. Yeah, so my English was bad. So that was not definitely my sales point. Requirement number 3, you're passionate about open source. I had never contributed to open source projects, which was shame. Right? Maybe some of you guys frequently they contribute to open source projects in GitHub, but I never did. Requirement number 4, you're good at computer algorithms. My top coder rank was in the worst group. Yay! Requirement number 5, you share our values and work in accordance with those values. Well, so I had never used GitLab, so I didn't know their values. Well, so pretty much I had nothing to be qualified for the job. So if I applied for the job and I had an interview, I would end up like that. But I had an idea. So the solution was a community contribution. It's specifically contributing to GitLab community edition. Their main their open source project. I noticed that this can resolve all my concerns. So let's base one by one the requirements I lacked. Requirement number 1, you have worked in a production level Ruby application. So their open source projects are exactly production level Ruby application. So contributing to their open source application, GitLab Community Edition, was exactly like to this point. And the next requirement number 2, strong written communication skills. It's being said that contributing to GitLab Community Edition, open source project is well known as a good place to learn English. So actually, I think half of GitLab employees are non-native speakers. We are struggling to communicate with native speakers. They're speaking really fast. But if it's written in English, I can we can catch up. We can look up the meaning of difficult words. And so that was contributing to open source project was good place to improve my English skill. Recommend number 3, you're passionate about open source. That's community contribution exactly covers the point. Recommend number 4, you're good at computer algorithms. So sometimes this is a tricky question. I think in IT companies, IT industries interview, this is a frequently asked question. But sometimes it's tricky that because algorithm is a pretty wide study. Like what first grade students learns is algorithms, but also like Stephen Hawking does also algorithms. So like there are a lot of levels, but I could analyze what level of algorithms is required in their actual project. So I could see their actual code. So at least I could understand what level of algorithms were required. Recommend number 5, you share our values and work in accordance with those values. So I have to use GitLab for the contribution. So yeah, this is also fueled by community contribution. Well, so let's try and see. I believed in the solution, and I tried it. After 1 month, January 2017, I quit my previous company. So why? I had to bid as applicants who work as a full-time web developer to custom app. I had to spend more time than they do. So as applicants, they were my rivals. Probably they were working in web industries, and they work 8 hours every day. Their gross curve is like that. But if I kept working in my previous company and I contributed in my spare time, like 1 or 2 hours every day, that growth curve is slow. So I needed to at least, as an applicant's curve, the growth curve, I had to improve myself than they do. Yeah, so that was a reason why I quit my previous company, and I also set deadline that this challenge is, yes, I should accomplish this challenge within 6 months. Also, I started contributing to their open source project, GitLab Community Edition. So there's a typical community contribution workflow. Actually, I followed the standard. At first, you find an issue with community contribution label, this green label, and submit the merge request. Merge request is actual code which addressed to the issues. Issue could be maybe bug or typo, fixing documentation or whatever. And after you submit a merge request, you ask reviewers to review it and address their feedback. And if it's good enough, maintenance merge it master branch, which is this is a goal of community contribution. So I started from fixing easy bugs, typos, yes, to get used to this workflow. For example, this was one of the easiest issues I worked on, include search options to pipelines API. It was pretty much an API expansion. It was simple improvements, but I got tons of feedbacks, because I was totally new at Ruby on Rails development. So I made a lot of mistakes, but the reviewers gave me a lot of feedback, which was pretty great. So I could improve my development skill. Well, so this thing sometimes happens even in GitLab employees that I want to write like this, but I don't like that. Each developer has own preference. Well, also I spent a lot of time to analyze their code base. Actually, I wrote down a lot of diagrams to understand their code base. But so after 2 months from the, I quit my company. I moved on to highly requested features. So the point is that, everyone can fix easy things, like fixing typos or fixing documentations. Everyone can do that. That's not definitely my, just won't be my appeal point. But I had to prove that I can fix more difficult things, which was highly requested features. And I was looking for highly upvoted issues. For example, this one got 91 upvotes. You can see the thumbs up mark. Well, yes. And I finally decided to work on the feature, the pipeline schedule, which got 99 upvotes. So if I could finish this, it was pretty great sales point from my side. Like I could prove that I can finish this very tough issue. So why are highly requested features difficult to solve? Because there are a couple of reasons. Because of performance, because of security, edge cases, maintainability, or time constraint. For example, performance, there's a solution, but it's slow or unscalable. For example, you wrote a merge request, you wrote the code, but maintenance won't merge it because it's slow. Or maybe security, if your code has a vulnerability, maintenance won't merge it. So there are many things. There's so many things to take care of. And that was why iteration comes into play. So iteration is the simply bit that highly requested features, difficult issues at this size. Iteration is cutting small scope into small pieces and work on one by one. So at first I proposed a step-by-step plan to the goal to GitLab employees that I'm going to finish this tough issue. At first I do this, next I do this, like that. And I wrote a lot of tests, unit integration, whatever tests that prove my code works well without any, the points I described. But so, I started working on, and I get tons of reviews at each step. Also, after 2 months, my merge requests were finally merged. I was pretty happy. So, as a consequence, I was chosen as a monthly MVP at that month. So GitLab choose MVP every month from contributors. I was chosen at the month. That was a great sales point from my side. Well, after 4 months, I quit my previous company. GitLab recruiter reached me out whether I'm interested in a developer role. I rebelled, hell yes. I had to go through interview process with 3 people. And the interview was awful. My English was poor. I didn't understand what they said. Awkward silence. But I believe that my contribution told more than that. Actually, a lot of developers in GitLab thanked me my contributions. That sadly I couldn't tell my sales points in my interviews in English, in speaking English, but I told in different way. Also, I got job offer with two conditions. One is internship. Another one, 3 months for the trial. So what GitLab wanted to tell me was, your growth curve was really nice. But you are not at the qualified level. So please show me another 3 months for 3 months about my growth rate, how I grow in the next 3 months. Well, so as I said, I started working in GitLab, so that means I succeeded it. As of September 2007, I was promoted to junior developer, and later, after 3 months, I was promoted to developer. I finally coded up my previous company's job rank. So as a conclusion, don't be afraid of lacking skills. Show them how fast you can grow. Well, so pretty much it. Thank you for listening. This was one of the most interesting journey in my developer life. It was challenging. I took a risk that I quit my company, or I quit my previous company, and I didn't have income. So yeah. Does anyone have a question?
Yep. You can work from anywhere. So, here in Japan, where are your favorite workspaces?
Workspace. I like co-working space in Kyoto, close to Shijo Karasuma Station, Oinai Karasuma. You can Google.
Okay. How about you hop around any other places like cafes or things like that?
I don't know. Just Google it. Actually, I prefer working in my home. I have a decent desktop PC in my home, so yeah.
How do GitLab employees communicate on a daily basis? Like, is all only by sharing basically code comments, or do you actually have internal chat systems as well?
So we mainly use Slack, and also we use GitLab and GitLab.com to communicate. Those tools are our communication tools. And sometimes we use, when it comes to video chat, we use Zoom. Maybe, the Zoom period.
I've seen that you guys are using Lever as well, so I'm wondering if Lever for your recruitment, like your ATS.
Lever?
Yeah, like I don't know how you guys work, but let's say I want to apply at GitLab tomorrow. Are you involved in any recruitment, or is it more like next step for you?
I'm not involved with like a interview process or something like that. No, I'm not involved. GitLab is a very big company. So like 300 people, of course, HR and engineering, the hierarchy is pretty much growing every day. So I'm just one of the developers. So I'm not involved with the hiring process.
But okay, I understand. But do you understand how it works, and can you share anything about it in your company? Just like tomorrow morning, I make an application, and what's going to happen? What's your internal process for that?
Sorry?
So, sorry, what will be like the internal process once I apply at your company? Because
I think there was a published document that how they gonna interview, or I think before they interview, they ask you maybe some programming questions can you solve this issue? Pretty much the same with community contribution.
Good. Yeah. But when you, sorry to keep on asking, I'm just curious, but because how many people are in Japan for GitLab? How many people are working for GitLab in Japan? Just you. Thank you for your service. If somebody would apply for GitLab in Japan, if tomorrow one of these guys applies, it would be cool if you can play a role.
Oh yeah. It's different. Actually, there is a huge community in Tokyo, and there are like some really aggressive contributors. They were like pretty much better than me.
Okay. Cool. Thank you.
So you mentioned you were choosing basically on what you wanted to work during your presentation, right? But now that you become an employee, who decides what you work on?
Basically, I belong to CI/CD team, and there's a product manager and engineering manager. They every month they talk about what we're gonna ship, what kind of feature should we ship in next month, and once they decided, they allocate developers who's going to work on that. So mainly product manager and engineering lead will decide.
So in Japanese pop culture, there's often stories about employees that have a really bad boss, really abusive manager, and they're always dreaming about quitting, but they never quit because it's like, what will I become if I don't have an income and salary, and society will look down on me because I don't have a job. So was it hard for you to quit? Like, did your friends say, oh, don't quit, you're crazy? Or were they supportive? Like, is the stereotype that Japanese employees really don't want to quit, is it true, or do you think it's just like...
So what is that like in general?
Yeah, I mean in general, like, I feel like you took a really big risk of quitting without a job offer. So I was wondering if you think that if that was easy or hard, or if you think that's common in Japan or very, very rare.
Oh. First of all, Japanese do not want to take such risk like I take. So my case was pretty rare. To be honest, I think so. That in typical Japanese company, that they're like I don't know, but well, yes. Let's talk later.
Kind of complicated question, I guess. But I really admire you for taking that step.
Maybe I could fail. I think actually my chance was 50%, right? So even though I failed, probably I had a presentation like how I failed from nothing.
So let me ask you one. So you quit in the middle of the process or early in the process. If you didn't quit, do you think you could have?
No. The quitting was must. Yes. Like, as I said, growth curve is the key, right? So I had to prove that. I had to show them off that I can grow super faster than other guys, other developers. So developers are like, especially I don't like web developers that they are so like they wear swaggy T-shirts and like Rogomac or whatever, like Silicon Valley style. They're obsessed with Silicon Valley style. Or I don't like that. So to make a difference with them, I strictly focus on like coding quality or knowledge.
So how many hours a day did you work?
I was desperate. So 10, of course 10. Wow. 12 hours every day without any like day off. Yeah, so I started from like almost nothing. So
It's a full-time job.
full-time, no paid job.
So, how did you stay motivated? Like, you didn't feel like giving up in the middle?
Yeah. So actually, I became anxious a lot of times. But like feeling this challenge means I have to work in somewhere Japanese company. Probably their annoying boss, and as a Michael Scott, that was scary.
So you said when you quit your job, you gave yourself 6 months to get a new job. What were your plans if you didn't get this job after 6 months?
I'm going to have a presentation that how I felt. Yeah. So like as I said, maybe if I fail with that challenge, I have to find a Japanese company. Yes.
So now you get to the position you like. So what's the next?
Next. Yeah. So actually, my engineering manager asked me the same question. That, what are you thinking about in the next goal? Actually, I answered that like I don't think anything yet. Yeah. So pretty much I'm learning. I'm still like feeling like I'm learning a lot of things. There are a lot of awesome developers in GitLab that they have tons of knowledge. They're so great developers. I want to learn from them as much as possible. Well, so yep.
Why GitLab? Were you considering other places, or like aside from GitLab, were you thinking about?
I didn't think about anything other places. Like maybe I could do that more flexible. Like if I failed GitLab, maybe I can use the knowledge I learned in 6 months to other companies or like GitHub or something like that. But I didn't do that because that could be distraction.
So why did you choose GitLab first?
Because the I was looking for a job, the job it published in Stack Overflow at first, and I found GitLab like, oh, that's cool. They have cool logo. Okay, I'll be like that. But I realized that, oh my God, I didn't have nothing. I didn't have anything.
So we'll take one last question. If there's anybody?
I'll go for it. I already have those ones.
I have a question about the language. So 1 year ago, you failed interview because you can't communicate with the interviewer. What did you do to make your English so good that you can present here?
English?
What did you do to have your English so good that you can present here?
I'm taking English lessons.
So you take 12 hours for your coding, and you also have.
Yes. Yeah, I'm still taking English lessons because I'm not confident enough to communicate with native speakers. Yeah, so sometimes I can't understand what they say. Yeah, so I know that online English lessons is pretty cheap today, so it's a good thing. Yeah, I started learning English from Filipinos. It was nice. They were cute.
All right, thank you very much.